like that. The council passed a local law in December, and they put a resolution through to the state regarding that exemption. I'm sure that is quite aware of that.
All right, we can begin this standing meeting, our first standing meeting for finance. I'm the finance chair, Tim Rudd. We have Councilor Bay and Councilor Hogan. And I'll let everybody else introduce yourselves.
Dave Delvecchio, Commissioner of Finance.
Dave Clifford, Commissioner of Assessment.
Brad O'Connor, Deputy Commissioner of Finance.
And I believe Mary Vosler's sick today.
Okay. So how many items are you planning to put through to the agenda?
I have two items that I sent you electronically copies of. If you want, I've got a copy here that you can look at.
You can do the verbal introduction to me. I guess I haven't.
Well, one is a second amendment to the Open Sea PACE financing program. We had the ordinance that was passed by the council had the wrong lien date on it. It had January 1st rather than June 14th, which is the correct lien date. Am I right about that?
What date? What's the phrase? Before the
Lien date.
Lien date.
And Commissioner Delvecchio can explain exactly what that is.
The unpaid taxes get leaned on a certain timetable, according to the charter. That's what Dave's referring to.
So it was incorrect in the original ordinance. The ordinance was amended to include pilot projects, OSITA and SITA pilot projects in the city. And then this is a further amendment just to correct that lien date.
So if I remember correctly, this is when you have typically larger buildings. Does this still work? Yeah. That want to do an energy upgrade of some kind or some kind of physical infrastructure investment. They get financing for it, but it's going to stay with the property rather than with the
Yeah,
owner.
I mean,
like when they sell it, it'll continue to move forward with the property. So
Yes, it
just
will.
Has to do with creating a legal structure for the pecking order of who gets paid first. Kind of
yes. Yep, that's part of it. Yep.
thing? Okay. Any questions?
And the other piece of legislation, we're requesting an appraiser for a portion of a street that was abandoned by the council previously.
A portion of which?
Tracy Street.
Oh, Tracy Street.
This is just a slice of Tracy Street. It's located behind what's now a car dealership. They've already abandoned and acquired almost all that strip along the block. It's where a former railroad bed, really, is what it is. Yeah. And they've actually been parking cars on it already. But they're supposedly going to fix that area up and make it look better as well. So we're hiring an appraiser to put a number on it so that the city can sell it to the adjoining owner.
Who is the adjoining owner? Is it
Well, it's in this case it's Fiorito and Company. Okay. There's a number of investors. It's the same people that own the where the veterans are now, the old DMV building.
Oh yeah, okay.
The same people who own that own this former gas station that's now a used car place. So okay. Car repair. Right. That's what I've got, I think.
Okay, that sounds reasonable.
Yeah, the only item we have relates to the joint school board. I think I spoke to Counselor. At the request of the school district, they have unspent money from the 2019 A series, and they would like to apply it to different schools. Basically, the schools that you've already approved for 2020, and specifically, I think there's Clary, ELMS, Brighton Academy at Danforth and Penninger. Those are the four schools that they would like the unspent proceeds transferred to these schools.
Is it unspent proceeds or is it higher than anticipated interest earnings from the bonds because of delays, or is it both?
Well, the bond proceeds will be, they're eligible for transfer. We know that. This is not, because we don't need permission of the council to do that. That's like, what we do is we invest in treasury bills. So those proceeds can be used for the project, for JSCB. We're not talking about that. We're talking about actual bond proceeds. So when the council approved the list of schools for 2019A, these schools were not part of that. But in 2020, this year, in fact, early March, right now is the tentative plan to close on the rest of the Phase 2 schools. They have identified unspent proceeds. So if you don't authorize the transfer, they can't use it for any other purpose other than pay down debt service. We need to spend the money. I mean, there's certain timetables with the IRS that we gotta comply with. So really do need to,
I would just like to see when it comes up next week to have a really if the school district can just put together where just so we understand where the money's coming from and where it's going. I'm not saying we're not going to do it. I'm just saying.
yeah, I mean, I could tell you it's coming from the 2019A series. So
I know, but that means it means that underspending occurred at which schools,
okay.
and we are putting it in which schools is, I guess, my simple question.
Okay. What schools underspent?
So you're saying that if they earned, the way I understand it is if they earn interest, they issue the bonds, so they have the money, they reinvest the money until they spend the money, so they get paid interest. If that interest they're eligible to use on the projects.
Yes.
So you're saying when they get that interest, they don't need to ask us to spend it on the projects? No, they can
because-
spend it on whatever they want?
Because under the tax law, if they don't spend it, I'm required to retain it. And we pay down debt service. It's the same concept with the city bonds. Yeah.
Right.
So Dave, these proceeds are being spent on schools that have been designated in this phase or different schools?
No, it's still the same phase,
Okay.
Phase 2.
So it's extra, it's money. that
It's
they
extra
found
money.
And they've got other stuff to spend.
Yeah, going to Councilor Rudd's point, I don't know what schools, the dollar amounts where they underspent occurred, but I'll ask him to provide it, yeah.
Okay.
And where do you want to know the detail of the schools, also the allocation, where they want that money to go.
Right. Just so we know where they're
Okay.
putting it. Is that the only other?
Yeah, no, that's the only item.
Okay, so this is our first time doing this, so I think we're going to vote on, our committee's going to vote on each of these things.
And-
I should have done it as we went, but
Well, and I go, I know this is a working process, but I assume it's under your name on the committee. I don't know if we know that, if it's education or if it's finance. So,
It's gonna be finance.
it makes it easier. Yep.
If the clerk is watching, put it under finance.
so we had
It is a financing transaction, so.
we had the first item, which was the PACE, adjustments to the language around the PACE law for that. Motion to move forward.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. We had the Tracy Street assessment that we're going to pay to do.
Appraisal.
Appraisal.
Motion.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
And we have the
JSCB.
the baby for the JSCV moving money around.
Right.
Motion.
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. They all move forward. Thank you very much.
Motion adjourned.
Second. All in favor? Can I second? Aye.
Keep going.
That was easy.
I think it's easy,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
Piece of cake.
sure.
right.
Problem solved.